So according to my glorious human design soul sister, Emma Dunwoody, I am shores, which means I thrive when I am beside water, in an eclectic community. So I'm at my friends. Check out their view. Look at this. So there's a marsh out there. I'm in Charleston, Mount Pleasant, and we're about to have dinner. But I wanted to quickly connect with you because as we go into part 2 of this incredible interview with this woman, it is so true that when you can discover how you're wired, why you like certain things, why you don't like certain things, it really makes a difference. You don't have to waste energy fighting environments, people, systems, structures that is not who you are. And so the first thing in the morning when I woke up, I came right out onto the patio, had my magic mind, and sat out here looking at this beautiful marshy area. And then I went up to the roof and I did my yoga and my workout out there. Like I was doing tree pose, just standing like, standing up there. And it was better than your average tree pose because I'm by the shore, because that's how I'm designed. And now it's time for dinner and they want to sit inside. I'm like, can we sit outside so we can look at this? Because it just makes me so happy. So this is just one of the many ways that when we really get who we are and we be who we are and we are a stand for who we are, other things in life just fall into place, and things that normally bug you don't. So this is going to be exciting to go into part 2 of this really heartfelt, soulful conversation between two sisters who literally met doing podcasts. And then I had the pleasure of being able to be with her in person in Australia. And I look forward to her American book tour. I believe she's done her book tour in the UK. So we get her over in America, even though I'm Canadian, hopefully in 2025. All right, enjoy part 2. Welcome to Intimate Conversations. Become the one. Intimacy is an inside job. Because I don't feel like I have it all together at all. And I am a teacher. And I do have my Atlanta Prep method processes and I do all these things, but I've never felt right in the role of teacher, guru, like I have it all together. I've always felt much better saying, here's where I'm credible and here's where I'm a hot mess. So like this is learning, and you want to learn right alongside me. I might only be like 0.1 step ahead of you, but I'm willing to go first. I'm willing to be the ice cutter ship. I'm willing to fall and I'm willing to get back up again. So thanks for that reflection. And I love that about my 6'2". Tell us more about who you are, so we have more understanding of what human design provides for your sense of home inside as you go through challenges.
Oh, I love that. My sense of home inside as I go through challenges. I think the biggest thing that human design has done for me, and I see it do for, all my clients, all my collective and community, is that it gives me permission to be me. One of the things that's really shifted since 2018 when I started my human design experiment is exactly that. I have let go of all the things and all the masks and all the ways I think I should be. Now, I'm not perfect and there's still stuff that comes up. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, what just came out of your mouth? But funnily enough, never in a work environment. It's always, in my work, I'm so aligned to why I'm here on the planet. But honestly, I'm an introvert and, as a kid was so socially awkward. So I feel like I'm still a little bit socially awkward. But what human design has really given me is the trust in myself, the trust that I am so uniquely and beautifully designed to be this human. I'm meant to be this human that I'm here being. And when you feel that connection to your authenticity, it's like people always say, God, you're so confident. And yes, I am, but I'm only confident because I know myself so well. I know that I can sit in any room, in any conversation, at any table, and all I got to do is be me. I don't need to be, I don't need to worry about what I'm not, because what I'm not is irrelevant. What I am is the only thing I can be. So human design's just given me that full permission just to be myself. Being an entrepreneur and a podcaster that's kind of out there and opinionated and, in this world of human design, and there's things that I specifically call out. But I lean on my design. Like sometimes I'm going to get it wrong because I'm a line 3, but I have to be brave enough to call out what I say isn't working. It really gives me full permission to be me. Again, I'm the line 3 as well. Like I can make mistakes and I feel comfortable with going, oh, might have got that wrong. Sorry, I'll go look at it.
Wow, that's huge.
But yeah, it just gives me full permission to trust in that things that I may have been conditioned to think are wrong about me, like I'm inconsistent or I'm an emotional or I love to, make a mess or I do make mistakes, but in the best possible way. It's all about trial and error. It's all about learning through experience. That these are actually perfect traits as they are. It's just that I've been conditioned. I've been told by someone outside of me that they're wrong, that they need to be changed. And I've learnt to stop looking to other people for what is right and wrong about me and instead work that stuff out on my own.
That is huge. So much of my journey, and a lot of my clients when it comes to intimacy is we're looking out there. Will I be safe? Will I be rejected? Will I be loved? All these kind of things. It's like outside in as opposed to inside out, expressing who we are. And if you don't care for it, that's fine. I bless you. I release you. I'm going to move on to someone who does think my full self-expression is the bee's knees. Right.
Yeah.
And so to have a deeper sense of who we are without, not like bravado, without apology, but without apology.
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely okay if that's not a fit, and keep moving as opposed to contract and pretzel and be who we're not. And then we're going to attract somebody who likes who we're not. So we got being who we're not. And then one day we get so ridiculously resentful, we move, we implode or explode. So that's glorious to be able to give people the gift of confidence in being exactly who they are and
also,
they're not.
Exactly. And it's that piece, like I went straight to my design in the separation, like, okay, well, I've got a wide open G center. So do you actually. And when we have a wide open G center, that means that we probably have an issue with feeling unlovable. Now, I wouldn't necessarily have languaged it that way, but because I had my design, I was like, oh my God, that is literally what I'm doing all the time. I just do for the people I love to get that feedback that I'm lovable.
Yeah.
So it's this thing that I can actually go, oh, okay, cool. So I know what I'm focusing on. I'm like, let's talk about lovability, Emma. Like, what makes you lovable? Me. I make me lovable. I'm just me. That's what makes me lovable. And going through that process so that maybe when the unconscious behavior does get triggered, the inner child does get triggered, I just skip straight to my mum, to my relationship with my mother. I might do a meditation. I might do something like I just do the healing at the root cause. And then the other things, tend to unfold in front of me. But I just love that it just gives me this guidance to go, because I would have never really looked at that because I didn't language it that way. But having my design, I was like, well, let's just feel that out. Let's try it on. Does that feel? I was like, whoa, mind blowing. So really learning to just love myself and understand that I'm lovable just for me. Like, yes, as this hero, this hugely powerful human that can like take everyone under her wings and like we can like take over the world and make it a better place, and the one that's a freaking puddle, in the corner of the room rocking back and forward, like, and it's only been the last few years that I've even had friends that support me. And it's actually been having those friends show me what real love is, that like I have all these friends around me now that they weren't initiated in a space of what I can do for them. They were initiated in a space of something mutual, something that we both loved, or something that we, both inspired by, or something we connected over, or whatever. And, once I knew that there was this whole around lovability with my intimate relationship, it just was like, okay, great. So brain, here's all the evidence of how you're lovable just for being you, because these are all people that have seen you as the puddle in the corner, and they love you just as much when you're a puddle as when, you're this amazing human. So yeah, it's so powerful.
It's so true. So if we have that same what you said, Open G Center. I literally had a call with one of my coaches this morning. So not who I coach, but who coaches me. And I was cranky. And he was like, by the time you keep evolving, so self-care when you're less evolved could look like pedicures and manicures and whatever, but it's still filling of a void. Because self-care where you're beginning to evolve now is that your whole life isn't for others. You're out of balance because it hasn't been for you. And I'm like, well, my business is for others. Even the new home that I'm buying is so that I have a separate cottage for my PSIs, for my clients. Like everything's about others. He goes, that's why you're cranky. What if life was for you into wholeness to give from the overflow? And I literally said to him, I go, is that allowed? It was still a blind spot till this very day that we were doing this interview. It was still a blind spot. He's like, yeah, Alana, and I know this intellectually and I teach this intellectually, but I still wasn't doing it. I was still putting everyone else first. And when they're all taken care of, then it's time for Alana, as opposed to completely the other side, and not self-care, which I do enjoy, pedicures and manicures and the rest of it. He goes, no, you're so refined now. What really does self-care feel like? And I said, and I started crying. I said, this morning I was out paddleboarding and it was so still. And then all of a sudden the breeze came and it felt like the breeze was making love to me. I go, that feels so good. I sent you a picture on WhatsApp of me. Yeah. I go, that's the kind of self-care I need. He goes, yeah. How many mornings do you do that? He goes, exactly. So that's the level of self-love for me into wholeness, so that I maybe evolve through this. Am I lovable? I am love itself from wholeness. And then the next thing, do what delights me, not do what I think I need to do to make others happy. Because me being love in action is going to be what makes the people that are meant to work with me, hang with me, make love to me, be my friends happy. And if I'm doing something as a strategy, maybe those are the relationships it's time to let go of, which you are doing with your son's father. Has that occurred business-wise for you, friendship-wise for you, in addition to husband-wise for you? Has it been like an exodus?
No. So the interesting thing for me is that happened a few years ago. So there was a big shift a few years ago. And like, honestly, energetically, the last 18 months to 2 years, I've felt like I'm banging my head against a ceiling. And, it's kind of been like, I couldn't almost put my finger on it. Even though I talk about it as the elephant in the room. I knew what my elephant was. I just wasn't willing to deal with it. And then in a short space of time, I lost my mother. My mother died. Wow. And then my husband, we had a conversation that was like the catalyst to end the marriage. And that happened in a really, really close proximity. Yeah. And I think that was the moment that things really started to change, like all of the people that, these new friends, these new people that had come into my life, all of a sudden, all these people, there was more and more and more, and they were just turning up everywhere. So I feel like for me, it was just that I realized how it doesn't matter how much you love someone, and like my highest value, one of my highest values is family. So I was at a point where I was still trying to turn myself inside out. Like, what else can I do to make this work? Oh my God, yes, I hear you. I was with someone who was just like, nah, I'm not willing to risk that I could fail at being that person that you need. And then I just stopped doing it. And once I was no longer tethered to that energy, things really, really started to change. And I think that that's the thing for all of us, is that in many cases we know what our elephant in the room is, or we know where we are being called to. But it's just like, how long are we going to be willing to put up with that? How long are we going to tolerate that feeling? And as someone who's on the other side of it, and I love that I'm telling this story, because I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So the challenges I've had over the last week or so, it's nothing. Like, I've done all the heavy lifting. It's fine, far out. Like, thank you for my moment of perspective. Because I really think that so many of us, especially as women, we think that we can decompartmentalize our life, and we just can't. Like, we're
Mm.
energetic beings, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the things that, you know, talking about human design and talking about intimacy, one of the areas in my design, I have a line 5 in a particular place, which is called, in the Gene Keys, our attraction sphere. And it's
Mm.
all about being, and the keynote is seduction, or no, seduce or be seduced. And I
Oh,
remember reading that the first time and going, that feels a bit scary, you know? And this version of me wants to be the one that goes, hang on a second, that energy's in me, because I know that every time I lean into something in my design, I expand into this energy and it's really
yeah,
beautiful. But
yeah.
that version of me that was holding on could never step into it, because the person that I was with could, like, he's like, that's too much. You're too
Couldn't
much.
receive it. Couldn't receive it. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that, you know, this is where I think a lot of what you do and what I do comes together so beautifully, because
Yeah.
would have I ever admitted that out loud, that I'm like, the idea of being the seducer,
Mm.
like, yeah, there's a part of my entire body that goes, yep, let's learn that, you know, like it's that fear part of me is like, yeah, let's just learn it. Like, can we just learn it in like a safe book or something? But my
No.
whole body, exactly, my whole body is like, fuck the book, you know, like, let's work this shit out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how I even got there, but the point is, this is how I love this, how it all works together, because sometimes our design can just call us on our own stuff, or the stuff
Yes.
that we're kind of
Yes.
like, I don't want to admit it out loud. And now I've just admitted it on a massive podcast. So yeah, should probably focus on that.
Oh my God, this is so great. I'm just seeing, like, I'm doing a retreat in March, and we're doing like the first 2 days as an intimacy retreat for men and women for 5 days. But the 2 days at the beginning are about orgasmicness and pleasure and sacred seduction and all of it. And I'm bringing in another, she's from Australia as well, um, uh, support, because it's my edge as well to be able to, there's so much seduction and expansiveness inside of me. And it's also marred with all the sexual abuse and all the rest of it that I've been working through. And I feel, back to the innocence, the identity created on top of the wounds, for me, used my sexuality as a manipulation to be safe.
Yeah.
And so when the wound got integrated, the identity collapsed, and been a void. And so I've been in this very innocent new place of discovering, what is my orgasmicness? What is my receptivity? My seduction. I mean, I used to be a topless dancer in Japan in my 20s. I was like, I had all of that. And I'm like, that
to be
was,
that brave.
well, it was brave, but it was also a shtick, right?
Mm.
It's what I learned to manage the men's attention. And while I danced with, girls from the Crazy Horse or Moulin Rouge, and they taught me a lot, and it was a wonderful experience. It was still an act. It wasn't the pure sacredness, which is so much more erotic and I guess, and sacred than anything that I had learned before. And who I attracted was into more of the shallow, outer seduction. And I want to be valued for this incredible richness of my dragon nature and my goddess nature and my all of these capacities that I have as a multidimensional being. I want them to get it on a spiritual level. So I'm discovering me. I'm innocent into this next wave, and 54 years old, and I'm discovering who I am. So
I love it.
It's so great, right?
Do you know the other thing, you saying you're 54, I was thinking, like, I'm 50 next year. And I think there's also this thing that as you get older, because of our conditioning, at some point we worry about getting older.
Mm.
And at some point we realize, hang on a second, like, I'm only going to get older and older. So this is only going to get worse if I continue down this road of, oh my God, I'm really uncomfortable about looking older. However, when we flip that coin over, I think that there's great power in it. And being at this place, like, I love that I'm 49 years old. I'm financially independent. I have my children. I do what I love every day. I'm surrounded by some of the most incredible people ever. I love my community, my clients, my collective. Like, I don't have a need. So I feel like I'm in this place where oh my God, feeling this safe in me
Mm.
and in my life, and then
Mm.
deciding now this is when I want to really fall in love with my body and my
Yes.
sensuality and my
Yes.
sexuality. And like, what a freaking safe place to be doing that from, because at no point do I need another
Anyone to
person or a
complete you.
man or
Mhm.
exactly. So all I need is the courage to say it out loud and because I've just done it on a podcast. And to then go and find out, because I think that's where we really, as women, where we're going to really become timeless, when we really
Mm.
shift into this place of, like you said, it's all in the body. It's not as much as I've discovered face yoga and lymphatic drainage in the face that are just like I love. Don't get me wrong. I will still be doing those things, but I just think that there is such a window of opportunity for us as women to really almost rebirth what it is to be a woman over the age of
100%.
50.
Yeah. I love that you said that it really is a rebirth. And
Mm.
you and I were sitting across the table from a young pup. How old is Blake? He's
I don't know.
40 or something,
Yeah.
mid 40s. But we were inspired by a man willing to do the work for
Mm.
himself with his mother wound, so he doesn't pass this on to his woman, right? And then
Yeah.
his children. And we were both so inspired by that. And I love that we also talk about this feeling of wholeness. So we don't need a partner. And to
Mm.
me, it's about this podcast is about like meeting God and the goddess, allowing the universe to have your back. To me, the more I can have my inner masculine listen, protect, be there, and not race off being do, go. And she's like, hello. And they can be together and she can relax. She can be held.
Mm.
She can express her truth or creativity like a ball of light, and then
Mm.
give it to him who he's got clarity now. He knows exactly what he's creating. He doesn't have to race off like an idiot. He's very, very clear, like they're a team. When I have
Yeah.
that sort of inner relationship going on the inside, I feel like the divine is my lover. I feel like I've been married for 20 years to apparently somebody I've never met before. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
just
love
feel
that.
so um praising of men of all ages and
Yeah.
sisterhood with all the women I meet. And I just like have this delicious energy. And I trust that as I keep putting one foot in front of the other, whoever I'm meant to be with will arise. And maybe I'll always want my own house. Maybe
Mm.
I'll want to live with him. Maybe we'll have two houses. Maybe he'll be younger. Maybe he'll be older. Like maybe there'll be two of them. Like I have no clue. Like just letting go of
Yeah.
my conclusions of what I think it's going to look like in order to finally succeed and be enough and do it right and find like,
Oh my
fuck
God, I love it.
fuck it. Just, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like be in the, I don't know. What is
Yeah.
it like for you? It's still so
I
fresh
love
with your
this
divorce.
so much because it's a conversation I have with my girlfriends a lot. One of the first things for me, even before we separated, I was like, I can't do this sharing a bedroom thing anymore. Like, I just can't. Like, just get out of my space. I can't do
Oh my
it.
God, I'm so
And
glad you're
that
saying this.
and that was like like for him, he's like, well, this is a deal breaker for me. And that was a moment I went, well, maybe it's a deal breaker because I'm done. Like, and I feel like
Oh,
it's been, more than a year that I've had my own room.
yeah.
And oh my God, the healing of just having my own room. But what's
Thank you.
crazy is I've started to see all my girlfriends, I'm seeing other people in my life almost validate all these different ways of being. Like, so one of my good friends,
Uh-huh.
this is a woman that I've followed for years before we became friends.
Uh-huh.
I've always had a bit of a girl crush. She's very successful, but she's that kindest, happiest, most amazing human. And so she was married to a guy and just was like, one day was like, you're really nice, but I just can't be married to you anymore. I just can't do this anymore. I want more. I'm not, And so she met a new partner a while down the track. And she said to the new partner, we are never living together.
Mm.
Nope, never, ever, ever.
Mm.
Um, and then they decided to have children. So they
Mm.
had children. And then she was like, okay, so here's the thing. You've got to keep your house. I'm keeping my house. While the kids are babies, we can be under the same roof. But by the time I can't remember what their age is, then you're out. Like, I still want to be with you. You're still my life partner, but I don't want to have to cohabitate with someone all the time. That's just not who I am.
Yeah.
And all of these different relationships, and I've got girlfriends who have split up with their life partner or their girlfriends or whatever, and they're like maybe I should just open up to whoever. Like it could be a man, it could be a woman. I don't know. So I'm really surrounded by all these people that are actually going, hang on a second, let's just break the rules.
Yes.
Let's just see what feels good for us and not stick to anything,
Yeah.
not say, oh, well, now I'm forever going to have my own bedroom. Like I'm not saying that, but if there's something that feels better than this, then I'll do that. But I'm
Right.
not going to do something that doesn't feel as good as this.
Yes. This is so good. And I was talking with my coach today about this. He goes, when I've made decisions from emptiness, sacrifice, putting others first, my truth was based on a false premises. It was based on empty. It was based on empty. Even though I did my best. And I was really listening to my heart. I was really listening to my truth. I wasn't a full deck. And the more I integrate all these wounds, and the more I collapse all these identities, and I allow the truth of me and stay humble and stay innocent. I don't know. And all of that goes from my body all the way up to my pineal, all the way out to, the divine, the field. And the divine whispers to me and I listen and I just stay in the question, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows moment to moment? And what a wonderful adventure to feel in your 50s, that we're innocent again and we're figuring it out. And then to be that with each other as sisters, to be that in our communities. I had a client just yesterday. She's only in her 30s, but I was helping her out of one relationship. She's moving into another. And she goes, and I told him I'd get my own room. And I'm like, stop it. She's like, yeah, he's got his own room too. And we come together in this other room. That's our sex room. And then we have,
I like it.
And then they have another room with plants where they do like meditation and reading and stuff. I'm like, okay. Like, so they've just figured out what works for them. And you can use your voice and you're making decisions based on wholeness, not on emptiness, self-firstness. So, so I want people, I could talk to you for a long time, but it's getting, I'm so glad we're back together having another conversation. I adore you.
Good.
I'm so grateful to know you, love you, support you, champion you, anything you ever need. I'm always here.
Amazing. Thank you. Right back at you. Beautiful.
Thank you. So I just want to do logistics for a second. Free human design chart, emmadunwoody.com/get-your-chart. It'll be in the show notes, but I want this sense of whole. Can we tie it together with human design? This sense of wholeness from the inside out, making choices that are actually aligned with who we are. How can this chart and all the wonderful, like you have like a membership mastermind, you have all these things that you can offer people.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things. So tell us how, I got shivers when I said that. Tell us how that can really support people in being who they are and creating a life based on their truth.
I think someone actually asked me this morning on another podcast interview. She was like, well, what do you want your legacy to be? And I was like, well,
Great
you know
question.
what I'd like. Yeah, right. And it's actually something I contemplate a lot. I remember learning that the Indigenous Australians, the Aboriginal people, they focus, and I think it's the same with the Indigenous Americans.
North Americans.
Thank you, North Americans. That they focus on 7 generations. They focus on what I'm doing today. How does it influence 7 generations from now? Yeah,
it shivers all over my body.
Yeah, I remember loving that concept. And that's something that kind of sits with me around legacy, because legacy is very important to me. It's so important that, would you believe that when I have a dressage horse, I've had horses all my life. I took a 7-year break and wasn't intending on getting another horse. And then all of a sudden just followed the serendipitous breadcrumbs and bought a horse. And would you believe his name is Legacy? I know, right? Like it's my 4-legged therapist. Like the way this horse transmutes energy, it's amazing. I mean, they all do. Anyway, my point being, legacy. So I think the thing that my work is really all about, and the legacy I want to have, is very much around, we must raise our consciousness right now where we are in human history. But what does that actually mean? Well, that means we need to take our power back and become the authority in our own life. We need to understand that our number one priority is to learn to love, trust, and accept ourselves as we are right now. Yep. Because that is what we do, is that's how we raise our consciousness. We move away from fear and closer to love. as we raise our consciousness, that has an implication on not only ourselves, but hundreds of thousands of others, of people that we might perceive are asleep. They may or may not be. That's not for me to judge. But the point is, it's how we do that. And it's not just for the human race, it's for planet Earth. There's, in my belief systems, in all the research that I've done, there's so much more that we are not talking about in mainstream areas that are going to have a really big impact on us over the next decade. So the thing that my work is going to teach you to do, or to be more importantly, is your most authentic self. Have the courage and the confidence to be you, and to then take that out into the world and share it with others. And through that process, be taken care of in every area of your life. And, go on potentially the greatest adventure of your life, of becoming you and then sharing you with the rest of the planet.
Fuck yeah. That's why we love each other so much. Because that to me is like your intimate relationship with yourself is just what you said. And that's why I'm here. Yeah. I so get it. Did I tell you about the equine therapy thing I had in Australia when we had dinner that night?
Oh my God.
I didn't know you had
Yeah. So to the point that after listening to you talk about it, I did a little, I was asking around because it kind of keeps popping up. And on my vision board is I'm going to get myself a property over the next few years in the hinterland here in Byron. And because of that, I'm like, I think I'm going to get into equine therapy. So in a few years, I think I'll probably even look at it, because listening to your story was just like, wow. And I know it's true. I've had horses all my life. Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. It sounds amazing.
Well, I'll connect you with her. Her name's Sue.
Yeah.
And just her journey, and see if it supports your journey and all the things. Amazing. Okay. So everyone, emmadunwoody.com/get your chart with the dashes. Get into her world. Let her love you. Let her empower you. Let her help you be who you are, express who you are. Because even just being who you are, just sitting there doing fucking nothing, you're affecting consciousness. And then when 100%. You get out there and be and give your light and your uniqueness, then it takes it to a whole other level. So thank you, sister. I so appreciate you. I so love you. I so champion your bravery right now. And your this innocence, I'm going to call it like an innocence, as you explore more. And we'll talk seduction, sacred seduction offline.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do that.
Great. Until next time. And so those of you watching and listening, I'm sure there was tremendous mic drop moments for you where something like what's made you cry, made you be inspired, made you want to take action. When you're done, first, please go sign up and get your free human design chart right away. That's your number one to-do list. Number two, just be quiet, be still, go out, put your feet against the ground and really listen to what Emma shared that has touched you. And then from that place, take an action, whether that action is writing in your journal, giving yourself a damn hug, calling somebody, certainly call Emma, but allow this conversation to have moved the dial on who you are. Because as that happens, who knows where we're going to be a year from now, 10 years from now, because you took the time to be with the two of us. We're so grateful. We love you. Thank you for being with us on Intimate Conversations. Until next time, much love. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life.
I love the work Emma does with human design. I love how when we really get who we are, we stop comparing ourselves to others. We stop being competitive with others. We stop feeling less than others. It's how we're literally designed. I'm staying with this family who are my clients, and I did a session with the son yesterday. And from his point of view, comparing himself to his brother and sister, there are inadequacies, incompetencies. But when you let go of comparing and he rests in who he is, he started to go, oh, I do have capacities. I'm like, yeah, you're freaking talented. I do have competencies. I'm like, yeah, I'm better than me. And so what a gift to set a young man free, to see who he really is. I would love this next step to be, the whole family could do their human design and see how they're uniquely gifted, and no need to compare one another, but also have a deeper understanding of each other's superpowers and each other's edge, right? So I'm doing a session with the mom this morning, and then the dad and the son and I are going to go out on a boat and go paddleboarding through the marshes. I don't know if you can see like there's marshes, and then out there is like the channel. So I did my stretching out here. I love doing like tree pose on the top here. It's the best. The sun is over there, but there's clouds, so it's not too bright. I'm gonna go down and do my magic mind. Just a reminder for all of you. Again, this product is what keeps me sane, focused, calm, strong immunity, etc. Sharper mind, true. Lower stress, true. Better energy, true. Reclaim your brain. So in magicmind.com/intimate conversations, the name of our podcast, and then use the code intimate conversations 20 for 20% off either the subscription or a one-time purchase. I would totally, completely go for it. And so lastly, with my design being a role model, it doesn't mean I'm a teacher. That doesn't mean I'm a guru. I am far from that. I'm willing to always show them my underbelly of where I'm scared. Excuse me so much. Where I sneeze in the middle of a video, where I don't have it all together. And that was another beautiful interaction I had with the son. I shared how it was growing up with my sister. She was smarter. She didn't have to study and she would get A's. I would study so hard and I would get like a B. We're just designed differently, but it doesn't mean anybody has more worth, right? We're just unique flowers in a garden. And then lastly, I'll share with you, I'm Canadian. I'm a proud Canadian, but I had never watched Strange Brew until last night. I hope we were not too loud laughing. It was so fun. And so neat to meet Americans who appreciate Canadians. It was just a great night. I'm so grateful as I embark. This is my last day of quote unquote work, because tomorrow I start my 4-week sacred sabbatical. I'm gonna leave here tomorrow morning and drive to a cottage on the beach that I've rented, and I've pretty much delegated everything for an entire month. I have never put myself first like this, ever. Even my self-care has been for another. And so for one whole month, I get to discover more deeply who I am. And whatever worthiness issues come up, integrate them. Whatever fears, what if everything falls apart, control freak issues, integrate them. And just deeply, deeply, deeply come home to self. I'm so proud of myself to give myself this gift. So thank you for being with us. Please follow Emma in her world. She's extraordinary. There's a complimentary chart, your human design chart, that you can get. The link is in the show notes. Keep that woman close to your life. Her energy is extraordinary. She's a trailblazer and a heart of gold. And if I can be of service to you, the transformation that's possible when we begin to do this deep, subconscious, somatic integration. You're all clever. If you could see it and figure it out, you would. It's always when you're on the personal growth path and it's still not changing. It's in the body. It's subconscious. And it is my honor and privilege and pleasure to utilize my 10 Alana Pratt method processes, the PSI journeys that I get to lead, and the community where we have each other's back. It's an extraordinary community where we're literally quantum entangled, and we rise faster, more elegantly, more deliciously, more soulfully, more humbly together. Yeah. I love you so much. I'm here for you.